Hi, hope you all had a nice week. Welcome to this video. Today I want to talk about the music that I'm listening to currently because I really enjoy discovering new music and listening to new songs I've never heard before. And hopefully with this video I can give you a few nice song recommendations and you can discover some new songs. I have quite a broad music taste, so to make this video a bit more organized, I'm gonna divide it into four sections and four genres. Those would be rock, folk, indie, and the last one is just basically everything else. So I'm gonna start with rock, I think, and the first band that I want to talk about is Blur, which is a band that you probably know from Song 2, and that's what I knew them from too for a very long time. But just recently I started to actually listening to their album Think Tank, which I think is actually a really good album, and that's what kind of got me into them. Yeah, they're quite a cool rock band, and I just really like the lead singer's voice. My favorite songs of them are probably Byebye and Park Life, and the kind of more sad songs that I really like are Sweet Song and Got Nowhere Left to Run. Second band that I want to talk about is Pink Floyd, which is also a band that you probably know. I think my favorite song of them is Comfortably Numb, especially those slide guitars that they have. I think that they're really cool, and I just like their whole instrumentals in general. I love Pink Floyd and I should listen to them more often. My favorite songs are In the Flesh, Money, and Comfortably Numb, I think, if I had to pick three. Next band that I want to talk about is Radiohead, and as some of you may know, Radiohead is my favorite band of all time, I think. I've listened to them for a while and they've had like a really big impact on my music taste, as well as the way that I play music and write. I love the creativity and the unique sound that they have, because they really have like classic rock to electronic music and very different things from that too, and that's just something that I really enjoy from them. I definitely also like Tom York's voice and the way that he sings, so I also listen to his other projects like Adam for Peace and The Smile. Radiohead is one of those bands that the deeper that I dove into their discography, the more I started to love them. So naming a few favorite songs of them is literally impossible for me, so I named a few favorites from every album. Here you go, I'll put it somewhere on the screen. You could also just listen to In Rainbows from Front to Finish. I think it's their best album, and I think that's also my favorite album ever made. There are some pretty accessible tracks like Weird Fishes on there. I also really like songs like Full Stop and Present Tense from A Moon-Shaped Pool, which are kind of more on the ambient vibe, but I also still definitely enjoy listening to the more rocky sounds like the bands. So notable artists that you could also listen to are Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, and Coldplay. And please don't hate me for saying Coldplay, because they're actually a cool band. Listen to Parachutes. Okay, so I also listen to quite a bit of folk, which is like the sad songwriter boy in me that likes to listen to folk. The first artist that I want to talk about is Phoebe Bridgers, which is quite a well-known artist. You may know her already from her songs like Garden Song and Savior Complex. I had tickets for her concert, which was already in like June, I think. I couldn't go, but I don't really remember why anymore, but I was so sad because I really love her music. And yeah, I just love the way that she writes. She has such a like cryptical, very cool style of writing that I honestly love. I also really like her voice. My favorite songs of her are Scott Street, Gracelands 2, and Halloween. So my next artist that I want to talk about is Keaton Hansen. He has a really vulnerable style of singing, and as well as with his lyrics, his music is so genuine, and that's really something that I try to put in my music as well, but he's just on another level. Unfortunately though, he doesn't play shows that often, but I would definitely like I would sell my left kidney to see him live actually. You Don't Know How Lucky You Are is his most popular song, also the song that was his breakthrough. But my other favorite songs are Career Day and Prayer from his newest album, Monument. Another artist that I picked up recently is Sufjan Stevens. I already knew 4th of July from him, but it wasn't until like 2 or 3 weeks ago that I really started to listen to his other albums. I really like his instrumentals and his lyrics too, and I think that he has quite a cool voice. It's quite interesting and intriguing that he's already 40, but he looks like he's 20 and his music sounds like he's 20, so that's something that really inspires me and gives me hope for the future. My favorite songs are probably Death with Dignity, Casimir Posaki Day, and Chicago. I couldn't make a list of this without talking about Bob Dylan, because he's always been such an inspiration to me, and he's basically the whole reason that I started playing guitar in general. I had a real Bob Dylan phase in like 2019-ish, when I just listened to nothing else for the whole year. My friends hated it. Many people don't really like his voice, but I think that he has a pretty voice. And yeah, he's such a great songwriter and poet, and quite a funny character. Hope that I can still go to one of his shows. I need to stop touching my chain. My favorite songs are probably Boots of Spanish Leather, Just Like a Woman, and You're a Big Girl Now. And I also can't forget I've made up my mind to give myself to you, and Don't Think Twice, It's Alright, and many, many, many other songs. Some notable artists for the folk genre are Nick Drake, Elliott Smith, Gregory Alan Isakov, and Dodie and Flat Sound. Yeah, I'm not sure how I would describe, but I think that I listen to folk music the most, maybe, because it's just a genre that is maybe the most vulnerable to me and the most open, and that's something that I really admire and that I want to go after myself as well. Okay, so Indie's next, and then of course I have to talk about Cave Town, which is the whole reason that I started this channel. He's the whole reason that I started writing my own songs and then producing them myself. He's had a big impact on my personal style, but also definitely on my music taste. My favorite songs are probably Banana Bread, You're Gonna Wish You Believe Me, Home, and Green. So I had a really bad Cave Town phase like 2 years ago, but then I kind of got out of that and I got more into folk music and Radiohead. But then in last November I went to one of his concerts with my brother and we had a really good time. And then the day after that he released his new album, and that just threw me right into his music. My favorites of that album are probably Warm Food, Better, and Laundry Day, and I definitely want to cover one of those soon. Okay, so Peach Pit, which is like a really cool indie rock band, probably one of my favorites. They are just really good musicians that just write really good instrumentals and just play well together. I saw them live too in May, and after that I felt super motivated to play music. Especially their lead guitarist Chris is someone that stands out to me. He's just insanely good, and I kind of have a love-hate relationship with him because he really inspires me to do better, but I always feel kind of bad after I see him. My favorite songs of them are Hot Knifer, Tommy's Party, and Black Licorice. I think also quite a long list I could make. Next band that I want to talk about is Slaughter Beach Dog. I still don't know what their name is. They have kind of like a folk rock band. I think that they just make really cool, laid back, pretty chill music. My favorites are One Down, Acolyte, and Black Oak. I kind of stole the chords from one song of them. The lead singer of Slaughter Beach Dog also has a different project called Modern Baseball, and from them I would really recommend Intersection, and I think that I'm gonna cover that pretty soon. It's like a pretty cool, nice, sweet, laid-back song. So I listen quite a lot to my Discover Weekly, which is where I find 90% of the new music. There are 2 bands that really stood out to me from the last month. Those are Happiness and Sunset Roller Coaster. They are 2 bands that make very chill music. Sunset Roller Coaster is a bit more jazzy, and Happiness is a bit more, I don't know how to describe it. Sunset Roller Coaster is pretty jazzy. They just have very cool instrumentals, and I want to dive deeper into their music. But for now, I want to recommend Worth Little Birthday Girl and Naked Patience from Happiness, and My Monday Throne, and I Know You Know I Love You. Yeah, honestly, Discover Weekly is just great because Spotify knows exactly what you like. Like, it's always right. There's like 30 songs in the My Discover Weekly every week, and I really like at least 15 or 20 of them, and the rest are pretty okay. Discover Weekly is just an amazing way to discover some smaller artists that otherwise I would have never found. Like Happiness, for example, they have like 50,000 listeners, and I would have never stumbled across them if it wasn't for the Discover Weekly. So I would highly recommend you listen to that thing every week, if you want to, of course. Some other cool artists from indie are Mac DeMarco, Alex G, Tame Impala, The Backseat Lovers, and Spinvis, if you like Dutch music. So Spinvis is probably the only Dutch artist that I can actually listen to. I also wanted to talk about some other genres, but I think that this video is already turning out way too long, so I'm just gonna leave that. The point of this video is really to show you some cool song recommendations, and I think that I gave you quite a few. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I had a pretty cool week. I have a busy weekend, but it looks like I'm gonna start working 2 days instead of 3 days pretty soon, which I'm very happy about because I could use it, honestly. So that's exciting, and it leaves me more time to make cool videos. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that I could spike your interest for at least a few songs, because listening to music is just great. I really like to sometimes just sit behind my computer, absolutely blast my speakers and just do nothing for half an hour and just listen to an album. Then you can kind of really like experience the songs and be there with your full attention. I hope you're doing okay, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.